test flight with an APC 6x4 Speed 400 two-blade prop. Since I broke both of my stock props, I had to change the prop assembly on it. I've got a 2S LiPo in it right now, so let's see what we've got. Alright, we're in fully stabilized mode. I think that prop needs to be balanced. Alright, so climb up a little bit. 6x3 prop just didn't have enough. Alright, we've got it in manual mode. The 6x3 prop just didn't have enough thrust. So the stock prop must have had, it looks pretty good for power. I might put a 6x4 2 on it, jump fan flash 6x4 2, and test that prop out. Boy, I love the aerobatic nature of this plane. Big huge wide loop on 2S, so it looks like it has comparable power with the 6x4 APC. It looks like it has comparable power and speed as the stock prop did, because those are big huge wide loops. You split S, it's pretty cool. A little slow on the roll for Immelman. When it's got some speed, it definitely has some snappy rolls. So the 6, I would say this, the APC 6x4 Speed 400 prop is definitely, look at that, it's definitely a good candidate for this plane. It's got good power on 2S with that prop. We'll see after pushing it hard like this on a 5-minute flight, if it still has quite a bit of voltage left in the pack. I don't have any, I do not have any nose ballast weight on it right now. I tried it with a nickel, you know, to see if that would alleviate some of the issues I had with tip stalls. It just doesn't like to fly slow. It might be just slightly tail heavy on 2S LiPo, the stock 2S LiPo, but certainly not much. You know, it handles just fine without any nose ballast weight with the stock LiPo. You know, as long as you keep speed up, it looks pretty stable. In manual mode, this is all in manual mode, and I'm flying it with the TX16S. So this is my first session with the TX16S with this plane. First flight with the APC 6x4 Speed 400 prop. So both seem to be doing just fine at the moment. That is such a cool plane. Alright, so I'm about ready to get my haptic. So I'm going to put it back into stabilized mode and see if we can bring it in here without crashing it. Okay, hop, skip, jump, flip over. I now have a 5x5 prop on it. I've tried a 6x4, APC 6x4 Speed 400 prop, which seems to be on par with the stock prop as far as power and efficiency on 2S LiPo. But I've had a lot of luck with these 5x5 props too, so I just want to test it out. Launching. Alright, so let's see here. Bring it back around. Come through here, we'll put it into manual mode. Okay, we're in manual mode now. Looks like it is pushing it just as fast through the air. Let's see what power we've got. I would say a little less power with the 5x5 prop than we had on 2S than what we had with the 6x4. Yeah, definitely less power. Looks like the speed's about the same, you know, with the increased pitch. Shorter diameter but increased pitch. But not as much power for those big loops. Decent, but it's not doing it with as much authority as it did with the 6x4. So right now the APC 6x4 is the prop that I'm going to go with. I still want to test out one of the Gemfan flash props, the 6042 ABS prop, just to see. But the rolls still look really snappy with this prop. And like I said, the loops aren't performed with as much authority. They're not bad, but like a split S maneuver here. This bush plane actually flies, I think, more like a sport cub. I think I stated that in the last video. I had a Volantex 750mm Wingspan sport cub a long time ago that operated off of a 2S. It had good power and good speed, but it was like this. It didn't like to fly slow. It was a very aerobatic sport cub. And this reminds me of that, only in a smaller package, right? But very maneuverable, and I'm flying it with the TX16S during this flight session. First time I've flown it with a hobby grade TX, but if you watch the previous video, I've flown this in manual mode most of the time with the stock transmitter. I never had any problems flying it in full manual mode with the stock TX. I mean, you're not going to have any problems, you know, if you don't have a hobby grade TX. You're not going to have any problems with this plane as far as controlling it with the stock transmitter. And one thing that I was really surprised, I have not had to change any of the linkage on this plane. I have not had to add any nose ballast weight. I added some nose ballast weight just to see, but I'm flying it without any ballast weight whatsoever right now, and it's handling just fine. So I would say that the balance on it with the 2S LiPo is good. You can't fly really slow with it, that's for sure. Okay, so now let's see if we can bring it in. You got to bring it in with some speed, or else it will tip stall. Here we go. Hey, it stayed on its wheels that time, but you saw that that's about as slow as you can bring it in without it tip stalling on you. But right now on 2S, the APC 6x4 Speed 400 prop is the one to go with. And it might work out really well on 3S too. We'll have to test it. But that's a wrap on this episode. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time in the Tinkerz Lab.